Hi, Sam. I have a question. It's about OpenAI drama happened last year. So what's the lesson you learned? Because you talk about resilience. So what's the lesson you learned from left that company and now coming back? And what made you coming back? Because Microsoft also give you offer.
Yeah.
Like, can you share more?
I mean, the best lesson I learned was that we had an incredible team that totally could have run the company without me and did for a couple of days. And also that the team was super resilient. Like, we knew that some crazy things, and probably more crazy things, will happen to us between here and AGI, as different parts of the world have stronger and stronger emotional reactions, and the stakes keep ratcheting up. And I thought that the team would do well under a lot of pressure, but you never really know until you get to run the experiment. And we got to run the experiment, and I learned that the team was super resilient and ready to kind of run the company. In terms of why I came back, I originally, so it was the next morning, the board called me and were like, "What do you think about coming back?" And I was like, "No, I'm mad." And then I thought about it, and I realized just how much I loved OpenAI, how much I loved the people, the culture we had built, the mission, and I kind of wanted to finish it all together.
You emotionally. I just want to. This is obviously a really sensitive and one of. Oh, it's not. But I imagine that was one. Okay. Well, then can we talk about the structure about it? Because this Russian doll structure of the OpenAI, where you have the nonprofit owning the for-profit. When we're trying to teach principle-driven entrepreneurship.
We got to the structure gradually. It's not what I would go back and pick if we could do it all over again. But we didn't think we were going to have a product when we started. We were just going to be like an AI research lab. It wasn't even clear. We had no idea about a language model or an API or ChatGPT. So if you're going to start a company, you got to have some theory that you're going to sell a product someday. And we didn't think we were going to. We didn't realize we were going to need so much money for compute. We didn't realize we were going to have this nice business.
So what was your intention when you started it?
We just wanted to push AI research forward. Okay. We thought that.
And I know this gets back to motivations, but that's the pure motivation. There's no motivation around making money or power.
I cannot overstate how foreign of a concept.
I mean, for you personally, not for OpenAI, but you weren't starting.
Well, I had already made a lot of money, so it was not a big. I mean, I don't want to claim some moral purity here. It was just that was the phase of my life.
That's not a driver.
A big driver.
Okay. Because there's this, and the reason why I'm asking is just, when we're teaching about principle-driven entrepreneurship here, you can understand principles inferred from organizational structures. When the United States was set up, the architecture of governance is the Constitution. It's got 3 branches of government, all these checks and balances, and you can infer certain principles that, there's a skepticism on centralizing power, that, things will move slowly. It's hard to get things to change, but it'll be very, very stable. If you, not to parrot Billie Eilish, but if you look at the OpenAI structure and you think, what was that made for? You're near $100 billion valuation, and you've got a very, very limited board that's a nonprofit board, which is supposed to look after its fiduciary duties to the
again. It's not what we would have done if we knew then what we know now, but you don't get to play life in reverse, and you have to just adapt. There's a mission we really cared about. We thought AI was going to be really important. We thought we had an algorithm that learned. We knew it got better with scale. We didn't know how predictably it got better with scale. And we wanted to push on this. We thought this was going to be a very important thing in human history. And we didn't get everything right, but we were right on the big stuff, and our mission hasn't changed. And we've adapted the structure as we go, and we'll adapt it more in the future. But, you don't, life is not a problem set. You don't get to solve everything really nicely all at once. It doesn't work quite like it works in the classroom as you're doing it. And my advice is just trust yourself to adapt as you go. It'll be a little bit messy, but you can do it.
And I just asked this because of the significance of OpenAI. You have a board which is all supposed to be independent financially, so that they're making these decisions as a nonprofit, thinking about their stakeholder that they are fiduciary of isn't the shareholders, it's humanity. Everybody's independent. There's no financial incentive that anybody has that's on the board, including yourself with OpenAI.
Well, Greg was, okay, first of all, I think making money is a good thing. I think capitalism is a good thing. My co-founders on the board have had financial interest, and I've never once seen them not take the gravity of the mission seriously. But we've put a structure in place that we think is a way to get incentives aligned, and I do believe incentives are superpowers, but I'm sure we'll evolve it more over time, and I think that's good, not bad.
And with OpenAI, the new fund, you don't get any carry in that, and you're not following on investments onto those companies. Okay, thank you.
We can keep talking about
No,
this.
I know you want to go back to students. I do too. So we'll keep going to the students.
How do you expect that AGI will change geopolitics and the balance of power in the world?
Like maybe more than any other technology. I think about that so much, and I have such a hard time saying what it's actually going to do. Or maybe more accurately, I have such a hard time saying what it won't do. We were talking earlier about how it's like not going to maybe it won't change day-to-day life that much, but the balance of power in the world, it feels like it does change a lot. But I don't have a deep answer of exactly how.
Thanks so much. I was wondering, in the deployment of like general intelligence and also responsible AI, how much do you think is it necessary that AI systems are somehow capable of recognizing their own insecurities or like uncertainties and actually communicating them to the outside world?
I always get nervous anthropomorphizing AI too much because I think it like can lead to a bunch of weird oversights. But if we say like how much can AI recognize its own flaws, I think that's very important to build. And right now, and the ability to like recognize an error in reasoning, and have some sort of like introspection ability like that seems to me like really important to pursue.
Hey Sam, thank you for giving us some of your time today and coming to speak. From the outside looking in, we all hear about the culture and togetherness of OpenAI. In addition to the intensity and speed at which you guys work at, clearly seen from ChatGPT and all your breakthroughs, and also in when you were temporarily removed from the company by the board and how all of your employees tweeted, OpenAI is nothing without its people. What would you say is the reason behind this? Is it the Biden mission to achieve AGI or something even deeper? What is pushing the culture every day?
I think it is the shared mission. I think people like each other, and we feel like we're in the trenches together doing this really hard thing. But I think it really is like deep sense of purpose and loyalty to the mission. And when you can create that, I think it is like the strongest force for success at least that I've seen among startups. And we try to like select for that in people we hire, but even people who come in not really believing that AGI is going to be such a big deal and that getting it right is so important, tend to believe it after the first 3 months or whatever. And so that's a very powerful cultural force that we have.
Thanks.
Currently, there are a lot of concerns about the misuse of AI in the immediate term with issues like global conflicts and the election coming up. What do you think can be done by the industry, governments, and honestly, people like us in the immediate term, especially with very strong open source models?
One thing that I think is important is not to pretend like this technology or any other technology is all good. I believe that AI will be very net good, tremendously net good. But I think like with any other tool, it'll be misused. Like you can do great things with a hammer and you can like kill people with a hammer. I don't think that absolves us or you all or society from trying to mitigate the bad as much as we can and maximize the good. But I do think it's important to realize that with any sufficiently powerful tool, you do put power in the hands of tool users, or you make some decisions that constrain what people in society can do. I think we have a voice in that. I think you all have a voice in that. I think the governments and our elected representatives in democratic processes have the loudest voice in that. But we're not going to get this perfectly right. Like we, society, are not going to get this perfectly right. And a tight feedback loop, I think, is the best way to get it closest to right. And the way that that balance gets negotiated of safety versus freedom and autonomy, I think it's like worth studying that with previous technologies, and we'll do the best we can here. We, society, will do the best we can here.
Gang, actually, I've got to cut it. Sorry, I know. I just want to be really sensitive to time. I know the interest far exceeds the time and the love for Sam. Sam, I know it is your birthday. I don't know if you can indulge us because I know there's a lot of love for you. So I wonder if we can all just sing happy birthday.
No, please.
No? We want to make you very uncomfortable.
I'd rather do one more question. I'd much rather do one more question. This is less interesting to you. Thank you.
You can do one more question quickly. Day, dear Sam. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
20 seconds of awkwardness. Is there a burner question? Somebody who's got a real burner? And we only have 30 seconds, so make it short.
Hi. I wanted to ask if the prospect of making something smarter than any human could possibly be scares you.
It of course does, and I think it would be like really weird and a bad sign if it didn't scare me. Humans have gotten dramatically smarter and more capable over time. You are dramatically more capable than your great-great-grandparents. And there's almost no biological drift over that period. Like, sure, you eat a little bit better and you got better healthcare. Maybe you eat worse, I don't know. But that's not the main reason you're more capable. You are more capable because the infrastructure of society is way smarter and way more capable than any human. And through that, it made you society, people that came before you, made you the internet, the iPhone, a huge amount of knowledge available at your fingertips, and you can do things that your predecessors would find absolutely breathtaking. Society is far smarter than you now. Society is an AGI as far as you can tell. And the way that happened was not any individual's brain, but the space between all of us, that scaffolding that we build up and contribute to brick by brick, step by step, and then we use to go to far greater heights for the people that come after us. Things that are smarter than us will contribute to that same scaffolding. Your children will have tools available that you didn't. And that scaffolding will have gotten built up to greater heights. And that's always a little bit scary, but I think it's like way more good than bad, and people will do better things and solve more problems. And the people of the future will be able to use these new tools and the new scaffolding that these new tools contribute to. If you think about a world that has AI making a bunch of scientific discovery, what happens to that scientific progress is it just gets added to the scaffolding. And then your kids can do new things with it, or you in 10 years can do new things with it. But the way it's going to feel to people, I think, is not that there is this like much smarter entity because we're much smarter in some sense than the great-great-great-grandparents, or more capable at least, but that any individual person can just do more.
On that, we're going to end it. So let's give Sam a round of applause.